Hello, and welcome to whatever the peck this is. The professional proper title of this FPS is a Rooftop Conversation, but I've been mentally just calling it the Charlie NG FPS. Would our other player like to introduce themselves?
Hello, yes, it is me, the person who plays the engineer very often. It is Modmad. I'm terrified. Let's do this.
Alright, I think we begin things, and again, this is take two, like I feel so weird repeating myself, but we begin things with NG. You are climbing up the stairs at Dodo Studios, headed for the rooftop to grab a breather. How are you feeling and what have you been up to?
Climbing implies more energy than is going into this movement. I think this takes place pretty shortly after Bob came and had his freak out dad engineer time, because it was really fun, and the plans for this C train, sort of a continuation on the legacy of the Taffy train, it has finally been revealed to his fellow tech nerd, and they basically went apeshit and just nerded out about it and came up with ways to improve it. So he then got the inspiration brain fever, which we've all had. So he's been up all night, improving this design, redesigning it, coming up with better things, and it's great. He is, however, completely shattered. So it's somehow become 9 a.m, and he's dead on his feet, but there's no point going to bed now because the studio is alive and he needs to do stuff. So he's taking his doctor's medical advice, which is to start smoking, because being part fire spirit, turns out smoking is good for you if you're one of those. So he's got his little infinitely burning Pete's cigar from Glop Shop, which I love, but he's aware that smoking inside isn't good for other tunes, so he's taking his carcass upstairs to the roof.
Fair enough. Now, of course, I need to make the very important. I don't know. I do not think Toon Charlie smokes. Otherwise, he would probably join me there. But no. As you're walking up, you open the door to what is theoretically meant to be a fire escape. So many people in Dodo Studios use the roof for this, that, and the other. Anyway, it's usually a pretty common thoroughfare, but not quite this early in the morning. So it's a bit of an odd thing for you to open the door and see someone sitting on the ledge of the roof, feet hanging out over midair, just kind of sitting there staring out at the sky, and it's Charlie. And can I actually get a perception roll from you? And this isn't perception for now, but perception for the last several months.
Oh, okay, fine. It's been very busy, I will say that. Oh, that's a dirty 20, though.
Always a good way to start. Alright, with a dirty 20 then, you know for a fact that, you've barely caught sight of Charlie for the last couple of months. You definitely last saw him at, Larry's birthday party / Dodo Studios anniversary party / everyone celebrating Animus and all that sort of thing. So, you saw him there, exchanged a couple words. Since then, and frankly, even a bit before them, he's been kind of getting more and more distant as time goes on. He's still around the studios, he still kind of occasionally talks with other people or shares shenanigans with other people, but NG, you in particular haven't really caught sight of him in a while now. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I could explain. There are actually reasons why he hasn't chased after him, but we may get into that in conversation, so I'm not going to do too much inner monologuing. He's exhausted. He's not going to make this complicated. He's just all right there, Charlie. I haven't seen you for a while. I thought you died for a moment.
Oh, heroes, I'm so serious. Thinking so serious, and you're starting off with that. Okay, yeah, I think there is going to be a quick moment where, because yes, this is meant to be a serious FPS. Also, Charlie is still a Warn. You're both still running on cartoon rules. There is a moment where Charlie just leaps up into the air, so when it's first sticking out, kind of half almost falls off the roof, then quickly does the whole air scrabble back onto it, gets back on, stands there, hands on his knees, morning to you too.
Well, if you will sit on the edge of the roof, Bob is going to have my head for safety again. Could you just maybe not sit so close to the edge? You nearly give me a heart attack.
You're the one saying that. Besides, cat, land on my feet, that sort of thing. And I give you a space, and Charlie is actually gonna come, like, just pat you on the shoulder as he's trying to walk past and head for the door that you've just come through.
Oh, hey, cold shoulder there. Are you not gonna catch up on me? I mean, it's been a while. I missed you.
Feathers, I don't think we've actually ever had a conversation in our peckin' lives.
We've had a few. Some that are very hard to forget. I feel a bit hurt that you do that.
No, because, like, a lot of these, it's kind of like you talking at me, or more specifically, us, and that's, like, talking at people's not really much of a conversation now, is it? Like, I should know.
Yeah, he does look a bit guilty about that because, yeah, he does have a tendency to lecture, part of the job description. But yeah, no, he does do the side nod because now is not the time to be stubborn about shit. Also, he's exhausted. But yeah, he concedes and basically does step out of the way, so if Charlie really wants to leave, he can. But he does sort of look at you with the chin tilted up with the ears down a little bit. He's giving you effectively the puppy dog eyes.
I think it's gonna start off as Charlie just kind of looking at him for a couple more seconds as he concedes the point, as NG concedes the point. Kind of give you a little bit of a nod and take another step towards the door to kind of go, and then falters and kind of just stops there, half turned away, kind of clenching and unclenching his fists, and not really sure where he wants to go here.
Is this a good time to roll insight?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, okay. Oh gosh, please be nice to me this time. 14.
Okay, with a 14, not the absolute best, especially considering you're level 8 now, aren't you?
Yeah, but that doesn't make him necessarily more insightful.
Yeah, no, that is true. I think with a 14, you can definitely tell that Charlie has more to say. It seems like he's got a lot that he does want to say. He doesn't actually want to go saying it, and this feels like a continuation of avoiding everyone, like he's been doing lately.
So from this I do get that he's been avoiding people, because he didn't know that for sure.
Yeah, this is not the feel of a person who has been actively wanting to talk to people. It's like, yes, I have encountered another person, time to leave the rooftop, sort of thing. So,
what to do with this information? Alright, well, I kinda make you talk to me. On the other hand, it may be good for you if you do.
There's another several seconds of Charlie kind of just standing there, and it's no longer clenching and unclenching his fists anymore. It's just fists. And then he whirls around, all grins and open and everything. It's like, well, what do you want to talk about then? Because we could talk about anything you want. You've got a nice shining blue sky. You've got your 20,000 projects you got you working on. You got all these adventures. Like, yeah, what do you want to talk about?
How about that passive aggression for one? Are you alright? I don't think you are, but I might as well ask, are you alright?
Never better. Clenched teeth as he speaks.
I am calling bullshit on that one.
Alright, fine. Yeah, not alright. It's stuff's going on here, there, and everywhere, and I've got things that I'm looking into, and I'm busy with life, and catching up with my daughter, and you know what? Doesn't matter. Why does it matter?
Because I care about you, and so do a lot of people here.
Sure have a tough time showing it then.
Right, now we get to it. He's just gonna sit down on the floor with cross-legged and, like, pat the floor.
Charlie is not going to accept you patting the floor because he is very antsy at the moment. But he is holding himself like this. This is me giving you this as a freebie. He is holding himself back from pacing, and you can probably see that from him, just like his leg twitching a little bit. So he instead goes and leans against nearby wall, rooftop, maybe the wall that the door was in, and just like crosses his arms as he leans against it, still looking at you.
Very friendly body language. Yes, I'm getting the message. Well, I have a bit of a reputation for being pretty good at playing the villain. On the other hand, in this circumstance, I do feel a little bit like you could give me more explanation as to what my motive is.
You tell me. I don't know shit about what's been going on in the studios lately. I don't know shit about what's been going on with frankly anyone, because no one seems to give a shit about me. I get secondhand news from Cell, and that's about it.
So you won't heard about the time that I moved the entire studio lately then?
Kinda had to guess that one.
And you won't know about the fact that I told all the staff that you weren't allowed to come in.
Like, that's one moment where the whole very closed off act just kind of drops for a second, and Charlie just looks at you, just like, really? Really? Because you know he'd be able to get in regardless.
And I want you to roll insight, Charlie. Are you being this dense?
I mean, he is a little bit, but also do be aware, part of this is I personally don't know what's been going on with the studios.
Okay, but I roll insight, please. I know this is serious, but I can't help cracking up.
Yeah, no, this is like, but like, I personally, I know that there is like 20,000 FPSs going on. I love all the secondhand stuff that I'm getting. I loving that stuff.
Okay, with a 21, especially with the second thing, you start to notice that maybe he's pulling your leg, and he does say, well, maybe the reason why you haven't heard about that is because it never fucking happened. The studio has always been here. I have always been here. We have always been here. We've been very busy, and I do apologize for that. But I also didn't want to chase after you the last time I messed up our relationship. It was because I wasn't respecting your autonomy, and I know you're very independent, and I respect that. So maybe I should have, but I didn't think I should have. So basically, we've always been available to you. If you needed to reach out, it's not like we're going anywhere.
It's not like I've been needing to reach out. It's like, even when I'm hanging around, even when you peckers can find me, you treat me like I'm a free babysitter at best. Fucking comedy relief at worst.
I'm really not agreeing with that angle. Why do you think that?
I mean, I'm there to distract Shorts Kid when you actually want to go take them out and, like, show them how to do homework and stuff. It means, alright, fair enough, I will give it to you this one. When we're off to, like, exploring somewhere dangerous, you gotta make sure someone is looking after the kids, and you're busy with stuff, and Legs is busy with stuff, and, I will say, it's fair, I can get out of there with them if needed, but at the same time, it's homework and baking and this is shit I should be doing with my own kid. You've got a whole job to run, yeah, sure. Like, you've got a whole studio to run. But I got my own shit too.
I do know that, but you do realise what my daily job is. I'm a movie director. I have had a lot on my plate, and if I could invite you to be a part of it, I would, but you don't want to be a movie star. I mean, you're a dab hand on the cameras. If you wanted a position with that, I could discuss it with you. But I figured that you had your own life and that you didn't want pinning down. The fact that you've been involved in some activities which I have to say are gold dust in the lifetime of any parent, I would have thought that was a nice think for it here, but if it's annoying, I didn't know that it was.
It's not that it's an... Mate, you're missing the point.
Clearly. Could we, like, fast forward this then? What do you want?
I want you all to show you actually give a shit about me, because it's not just you, it's everyone in the Peckin studio. It's... Again, I get all this shit secondhand from Cell, and sure, like, this place ain't moving anywhere, you're not gonna get in regardless of what you tell anyone. But... you get all this stuff happening. You ever have a thing where you're hearing all these great stories, all these great adventures, all this and that and everything going on, and all you can do is kind of sit on the sidelines and hope that maybe one of the people actually involved will come tell you afterwards? Or come say that they're okay. Or come check that you're okay, because it's not like they're asking about anything that you're doing.
I'm not even going to make you real insight for this. He looks tired, but he also just looks kind of bewildered in a slightly kind of desperate way, because he's been doing everything he can to, like, keep everything together, and he's been missing things that he should have been present for. There have been rather significant events that, due to things that were beyond his control, he wasn't there for, and he's been feeling amazingly guilty. And you're here, like, accusing him of leaving you out.
Yeah,
and it's like,
sorry.
he's not been doing that on purpose. And there's no way for him to express this. He's tired, he's sleep deprived, and he knows that whatever he says right now, Charlie at the moment is talking like a teenager. Yeah. And anything he says is going to be the wrong thing. So what you get in response is just a helpless shrug of the shoulders, and he lies flat on his back looking at the sky.
I think there's just gonna be several long moments of silence as he stares at you, just lying there.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, like, uncross his arms, and then just... Really? You're the one that wanted to make me talk, and here I am talking.
Really? I'm listening. That's what I'm doing. You would have thought you'd noticed. You're usually the one who's having to put up listening to me. You just said that in our previous conversations, I was a wee bit too much talkative. I'm not talking because I'm listening. I'm not saying anything because I don't know what to say.
Sorry, I take a little while with responses sometimes. Charlie is being very grumpy in my head and doesn't want to respond properly.
No, it's fine. I think there probably is, like, an awkward silence for a bit. That's probably what would happen. But, like, also, legitimately, I'm being as honest as engineer here. Like, he doesn't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
No, that's okay. That is fair. I do not blame you in the slightest for that.
It's just like, there's this lose-lose conversation.
Yeah. Again, as you said, Charlie is being a teenager about this. I fully agree with that.
But, like, if Engineer pointed that out, that would be a terrible maneuver.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think at this point, it's kind of like, I'm just gonna lie here and see what happens. If he storms up down the stairs, maybe I'll chase after him. If he starts jumping on me, that's a progression of events. At least there's something happening.
I think Charlie's definitely gonna turn and, like, open the door from where it automatically closed and almost go down. And then again, it's just that awful moment of hesitation of not really knowing what direction to go in.
There's a metaphor for what's going on right now.
Yeah. And then he stands there and again, continuing, like, not turning around, talking away more than anything else. Been chasing up leads on the jester fucker.
By yourself? Do you really think that's a good idea, laddie? You've got a child.
Yeah, and I got contacts too. Plenty of favours to call in. Nothing solid yet, but maybe some places to follow.
You know, it would be much easier if we pooled our resources. And yeah, he's sitting up now, and like the expression now has resolved into incredulous.
If Charlie was, like, antsy before, it's, like, you can see him trembling from trying to keep still. Yeah, but not the sort of routes that'd work for you lot.
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up, but because you have, one of the reasons I haven't been coming to your house to visit you, you may have noticed there's a wee bit of heat on me, and I didn't particularly feel like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs to your front door. But if you're going to be sticking your head in the lion's mouth already, like, what have you found out? I'll tell you what I found out, which I will tell you is basically peck all, but we are going to have so much more success if we communicate, and I feel like that is the crux of this entire problem, is that between the two of us, I'm not saying it's exclusive your fault or mine, we need to converse better so that we don't end up with this horrible, awkward situation yet again.
Found some places he might be recruiting. Couple of people he usually goes through. Maybe. Don't know. Nothing solid, like I said. It's not the sort of places that
I'm
work for you
interested.
lot.
This is more than I've got.
I already asked someone else this, and trust me, I already know it's a fucking terrible idea, because I've had these for months. I followed this up back in October, but back after Halloween, and I know you do anything that for the people you care for, because I've already been seeing you do it from the sidelines from the start of all this, and I do the same for my family, and that's why I had to fucking disappear for a year, and even then that didn't go well, but
I'm gonna roll it decide again.
yeah. Charlie is
Also,
not being straightforward about this.
Also, please remember this man has had no sleep for like 48 hours.
Oh yeah.
14, yeah, is too sluggish. Like, he knows he's got a terrible feeling about this, but he's not. It's almost like he's unwilling to put one and one together to get two.
Yeah. Charlie, I will say with the 14, it's pretty obvious Charlie doesn't want to be saying more, but yeah, again, he's caught between this. I think when he will half turn around just to kind of look at you over his shoulder for a moment and see the rather dumbfounded look on your face, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's almost comical. Like, no, it is comical. Like, I mean, you know what this guy looks like. He's just kind of like, he's got one ear up and one ear down, and his mouth is ever so slightly open. It's kind of like the perfect expression.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so Charlie just kind of sees that, sighs, doesn't quite relax, but a little bit of his shoulder slumping, and so you wanted to pull resources. What better way of getting information than from the inside?
Oh, Charlie.
What?
He's just like put his paws over his face.
What? You think I haven't thought this through a billion times already? Look, I know I rush into things, but shit like this? Shit that could get me dipped? I don't want to lose my family, I don't want to lose anyone else, and I know my family doesn't want to lose me. But at the same time...
Are you even contemplating this? Like, this
because I've seen what he's doing to people. I've seen what he was trying to do to us.
Yeah.
And I don't want that happening to anyone.
Precisely. I don't want it happening to anybody, and I don't want it happening to you. Do you think? I mean, this is a tempting question to answer in the wrong way, but do you think the jester is stupid?
No, but at the same time, I'm not doing any good around here, am I? I'm not really doing any good around anywhere.
You're already doing good just by having this conversation, as blisteringly awkward as it is. My God, we are bad at this. But the point is, I just... Not to put too fine a point on it, I love you, and I owe you a debt that I don't think I can ever repay fully. And consequently, if I allowed you to do this, I would never forgive myself, and I do not believe that your partner or your child would either, let alone my own children.
Then what the fuck am I meant to keep doing then? Because currently I am standing around waiting for anything to happen that I can actually help with, and it's nothing. It's been months, and nothing's happened other than whatever nonsense you've been getting up to, frankly. And oh yeah, Cell getting kidnapped, and oh yeah, just that was whole. There's so much going on, and there's nothing I can do except like this one thing that I reckon I'd be good at, because when it comes to recruitment, you think the Joker would accept any of you lot? What about me? Career criminal. Yeah, okay, he knows I'm a fucking liar, but at the same time, he knows I'm out to save my own skin more than anything else, even like that's not true. But he'd believe it. I could make him believe it.
I am not doubting your ability to persuade people. On the other hand, I do believe that you have forgotten something.
What?
Well, and he's going to stand up and just gently pull the door closed so that you don't bolt.
Probably a good idea.
Like, he's not doing it in a threatening way, putting an emphasis on that. It's just a please stay and listen to the end of this sentence, Charlie.
He does step out of the way so you can close the door, but he doesn't, as he steps out of the way, he definitely doesn't step any closer to you.
He does prayer hands for a moment because everyone loves the meme. But yeah, he eventually is just like, so, I have made some mistakes, and for that I am grievously sorry. However, you have also made the mistake of tricking yourself into believing an absolute lie, which is that we don't care about you. We do. We love you unconditionally forever, and I hate to tell you this, but I do believe the jester knows that too. So, even if you did manage to persuade him that you're an ass who's done a heel turn, which is a classic move in a movie, I have to use that myself sometime, got to write that down. But
Charlie rolls his eyes when you start talking about movies again, just so you know.
Sorry, it's a habit. But the point is, this man knows every trope in the book, and even if you had turned against us, he would know that we are far too soft and fluffy and attached to you to pass up the opportunity of using you as bait. He is absolutely going to let you think that you've walked in there and fooled him and become his best buddy, and then what do you think he's going to do? Hang you over a pit full of lava with, I don't know, acid spitting sharks in it? Anyway, he's basically going to use you if you go in there, and he knows who you are.
Yeah, but would any information we get be worth it?
No. It's not a point I'm willing to concede at any point.
Charlie kind of just like does the whole thing of like raising his arms up to the side, letting them flop down, and I think this is the point where he's going to. He's this like, all right, the door has been blocked off. He's going to go back to sitting on the ledge where you first found him, basically, and kicking his heels against the wall. I do want to say, I can't remember what spells he has. I do think he has Featherfall. I can't remember. Yeah, he has Featherfall.
Engineer does. If Charlie doesn't, yeah. Engineer does, so he's definitely keeping an eye.
Yeah, I do just want to say, like, out of character, this is safe. He is fine. This is just him... Again, being antsy as fuck, but not wanting to actually be pacing around.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, the engineer has basically exhausted his ability to sit still. Like, this has taken every fibre of self-control that he has. I mean, the fact that he's absolutely exhausted has actually been helpful. Mm-hmm. It's weird, because, like, he might have lost his temper on a more normal day, which, thank goodness, he hasn't even got the willpower to do that. But this is the most stupid plan he's ever heard of.
Yeah,
and he wants to say that, but he's not gonna, because that's not gonna help anybody. But it is Bardo's stupid. So like he does let Charlie sit there for a bit, and eventually so comes and sits next to him, not too close. Like it's kind of like if he reached out an arm, he'd be able to pat him on the shoulder, but like it's not like right up on your grill.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Yeah. So now what do we do?
I don't fucking know. I've been asking myself that for months.
Well, do you know why you haven't got a better answer?
Why?
Because you're only asking one person, you dimwit.
If this were anywhere else, he'd pick up like a pebble or a stick off the ground and throw it at your head. As it is, oh wait, he's got prestidigitation.
Yeah!
He prestidigitates like a pebble, a very lightweight, and just kind of bonks it off the top of your head.
Yeah, and she's not going to dodge that. It's funny. You know, the temptation to eat that was severe, but I'm not gonna...
Kind of glad you didn't. Might be a bit of a choking hazard, fire lava thing or not.
I can see what happens. And I think he's going to take a little break. Like, it's a slightly less awkward silence, and so yeah, he's going to puff away on his cigar. He's trying to like learn how to make circles with the smoke. He hasn't quite got it down yet. They're kind of like odd lumpy potato shapes.
It's a bit hard with a beak, to be fair.
Exactly. He's working on it.
Yeah, I think now that Charlie has gotten at least some of this stuff out there, he's not happy. He's not happy with any of this. But he's not quite as jittery as he was before, at least. So, have you considered passing this by a board of your peers? Might have brought it up with Finn. That is not a board of your peers. Do you know what one of my hardest lessons to learn was being a movie director? It was learning to bounce ideas off other people, because I was so obsessed with the idea that I could do it by myself, and that it was more satisfying even for my staff to be surprised by what I'd come up with, that it took me so long to get over my ego to do story meetings with people, and I just didn't realize what I was missing, because they brought things to the table that I sometimes was stupid, but sometimes it just opened another door in my mind that led to better ideas. You can't do this by yourself, laddie. I know. I had a whole big fancy like heel face turn fight, like planned out and everything, but hey, you've scripted it in your head, and that's the dangerous part, because guess what? Real life doesn't follow a script. Charlie just kind of stares at you for a minute, because, like, again, he's a career con artist. Yeah, but, I mean, does this career con artist realize that what Engineer's saying does have some validity? He does, but he's not happy about it. But it's like, we never really did sort out the whole actors are just a bunch of liars thing, did we? No, I have a feeling I'm never going to be able to agree on a philosophical level with what you're saying. On the other hand, you are coming from a place that I don't fully know the history of. I don't know an awful lot about you, and if you don't want me to, I can't force you to, but I would like to know why you feel that way. Much as I talk, a lot of you know less about me than you do about legs, so... For a moment, the engineer is very confused, looks down at his legs, looks at Charlie's legs, looks up at Charlie like, the hell? Who? To be fair, I would just like to point out, Charlie does actually use legs as Larry's nickname a fair bit. It's also very confusing because there's a prop making owl who's called Legs, which is a complete coincidence that came up sort of simultaneously from two very different directions. So the engineer is visibly confused. The one with the banjo and the mask.
You call him legs. Out of all of the things about him, you chose legs.
Oh yeah, because he's got a lot of them, doesn't he?
You are a unique specimen. Anyway, to return to my previous point, if we're having a conversation which is about you, which it is, and it needs to be, can you fill me in on where you're coming from? With the lying aspect, with the you have to do this by yourself aspect, because I don't believe either of those, but especially the latter, and I would like to be able to get some concept into your undeniably clever brain, but it's being picking stubborn at the moment.
Where do
you don't have to do this by yourself.
Where do you want to start then? You want me to start with having to tell the truth by lying every second I got, the moment I was actually able to figure out what both of those things were?
Hey, there's quite a lot to unpack. Let's go to that sentence that you just related to me. What?
Well, I'm not sure. Didn't mean we'd actually start with that one, but alright, yeah, okay. I'm trans. It's the fact that no one fucking believed me when I started saying that as a kid. And so having to go around technically lying, but saying the truth about the fact that I'm a guy ever since I was a kid, that's been a fun one. And
well, I wouldn't agree with the fact that you were lying. You were telling the truth the whole time. If you were saying that you're a man, then you're a man.
That's the whole that's the point. That's the whole fucking point. It's just the fact that no one believed me, so everyone else was saying it was a lie. So, you know what? If I'm in for one lie, I may as well go in for the whole lot.
But you weren't lying. They weren't accepting the truth.
Yeah, and I built on that.
So you built on their ignorance rather than sticking up for yourself? Which is very hard to do, and I do appreciate it's not so easy as that. But you weren't lying. So why are you treating yourself like you're a liar?
Because I got really good about it and really good at convincing people that up was down after a point, and that's kind of how I made it my whole thing. Because you keep using enough words, you keep speaking fast enough, and you keep acting like you're telling the truth. If you keep telling the truth at people, even if the truth's not actually true, people believe it. And even if they only believe it for a short time, it's enough for you to get what you need out of things and get gone.
You know, I was just envisioning what you were saying coming out in a long line of words, and what it was doing was spiraling around itself and turning itself into pretzels.
Exactly!
And it has not undone my observation that you were never a liar.
Well, yeah. Like I said, that's the whole fucking point. That's where it started, and if no one was gonna believe me, then that's the reputation I wound up with, and eventually they believe it because enough people started actually listening to what I was saying, and so they got the truth the right way around. But by that point I was pretty good at talking, so I just kept going with it.
Yeah, he does the side nod of the head again and again. He's kind of rolling the cigar around in his beaked mouth, which is quite fun because it goes up and down and up and down and up and down. Yeah, he's actually going to be quiet for a bit. He's already made his point, and the point is to let you talk about this.
Oh, look, that's just kind of where it started, frankly. And again, like you say, I was telling the truth. Still am telling the truth. I'm a guy, no matter what other people might say. And no one really knows about that anymore because I said it enough times that it became the truth. And I do that with other things, then it works. And I can convince people to maybe not pick on the kid that doesn't deserve it, and I can maybe convince them to go after the people that do instead. And when I get a bit older and it's mostly just me and maybe sometimes Red, and we can both work together to say things and people will believe it just long enough for us to be able to get what we need and make sure we're gonna be able to pay rent the next month. And I gotta say, I'm not as bad as a lot of other people out there. If I'm a con, I'm a fucking grifter, I admit that. You gotta have a moral code when you're working in this sort of thing, right? You go after the good guys. You don't go after the good guys, you only go after those that actually have the money. And to be fair, if they've got the money, generally they fucking deserve it. And you convince them that up is down and right is wrong, and that the best way that they can get more money is by giving it all to me, then I can make sure that money actually goes to the people that need it. Myself included. And, like, you want to get good at lying. Make sure you know that you're telling the truth at the same time.
Sorry to cut in again, but several of those examples, and I say that with air quotations, and he does with his little claws, several of those examples of lying that you just gave were not lies. They were actually you saying the truth, or in a way, facilitating the right course of action and justice, which is truth. You just gave an example of getting someone to not pick on a child who does not deserve it. That's justice, that is truth. You just said that a lot of people who have a great deal of money often got it by illicit means. That's very true. And if you're using it to keep your skin together and pay for your child, that's a better use of it than the pecking billionaire that you leached it off. So you're trying to convince me that you're a liar, and you're not doing it very well.
The thing is, because I'm a liar, I got real good at being able to tell the truth. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think you may have to turn your thinking around. You tell the truth a lot.
Does it count when no one believes me anyway?
Yes. I've had to do that myself a lot. What do you think my movies are for? My movies are, as you would put it, a lie in order to convey the truth. That is what all art is. But it's ungainly to call it a lie because the best stories ring with truth. They may not have existed in our world in a literal way, but I do believe that they may exist somewhere else. Because I know when I've got a story wrong, and I know when I've got a story right, because it exists.
Pretty sure that's the same argument I used on my English teacher to make her not fail me.
See, you were telling the truth then. At the very least, I agree with you. I would have given you a passing grade.
Thing is, I don't want to be known for someone that tells the truth. Like, I want to be known for someone that's honest, but you know what? It's the sort of thing where you should always trust a dishonest man, because you know they're gonna lie to you.
He pulls a face at that. He doesn't get that, and he's not sure that you wholly believe that.
Who the fuck knows what Charlie believes? I will say, I'm not even gonna get you to roll insight. Charlie is using a lot of words here to say kind of the same things from different angles.
Yeah, and all of them are getting batted away because the engineer is just seeing a guy that tells the truth, whether people don't like to hear it or not.
Alright, so, is it a lie if I tell some rich poncy ass that if he gives me 100 gold, I'll bring him back 1,000 the next week, and then I don't, I leg it, change my name, run off?
There is no place to spit but a rich man's face. I would say that if he believes that, then he is a fool for believing it. On the other hand, you may have done something unfair to him by removing a certain amount of wealth that he did expect to retrieve. On the other hand, he's got so much wealth. You know, capitalism can peck right off. I do not agree with it. I have had so many arguments with Screw McCodging you would not believe. But
oh god, here. Fuck
we're
that old
getting
duck.
into a lot of philosophy here, and I'm going to be honest, I'm sleep deprived and I'm not the smartest person on earth. I'm quite good at convincing people that I am because apparently people think that I can answer questions that I'm, quite frankly, I try, but I really kinda. He's sort of leaning towards you conspiratorially. Like, people think I'm a wise granddad. Can you believe that shit?
It's like, just because you have kids, they expect you to actually know things. Ugh.
Isn't that ridiculous? I don't know much more in the terms of wisdom than I did when I was 6. But then again, there's a lot of 6-year-olds out there that are a lot wiser than people who are my age.
Yeah, you got that right. Listen to any of our kids talking for about 5 minutes and they'll know a lot more about how the world works than anyone actually in charge of the world.
Precisely, and this is part of what I was saying before. If you're going to make a plan to act against someone as insidious as this, you need as many brains as you can to pool their resources.
The thing I'm worried about is word getting out, which is I didn't pick and tell anyone, because we don't know where he's got ears.
No, we don't. On the other hand, we do know particular people who we can trust absolutely. I also have a soundproof sound recording booth. Did you not remember that particular detail about movie studios? If you need to have a secure location for a top secret meeting, we could have code names. That'd be fun. But like, I am a resource right here beneath my feet. You have got 8 stories of resources that I am willing to make available to you, and you're not using it? Does that not strike you as a wee bit wasteful, maybe?
Gramps, you gotta remember that I've been doing this shit on my own for my whole life.
Aye, and isn't it a pain in the arse?
That's for sure.
So wouldn't it be nice if you had just like a couple of extremely loyal people who would do anything for you, including a fuzzy, ruggedly handsome orange bird type character who's got an entire movie studio as second call?
Okay, this time it's not a rock that he tosses at you, it's just an outright clump of dirt. It vanishes within a couple of seconds because prestidigitation items do not last for very long. But just like, it throws that at you, and in the time that it takes for you to kind of shake that out of your face and or dodge it, while Charlie was kind of loose as that whole conversation was going on, is all very much tensed up again, and his hands are gripping tight onto the edge of the roof. And
okay, what did I say wrong? Please explain. Was it the handsome bit? Was it the ruggedly handsome bit? Do you feel intimidated by this?
Shut the heck up for 1 second, mate.
Okay.
You say you've got all these resources available, and how would I know that you would actually give any of them to me? Because again, going back to the beginning, all this, you know what? Since near the fucking start of all this, since the studio's been back up and running, I've just felt like an extra on the set. Not someone that's not even gonna get listed in the credits. Everyone forgets that I'm here unless I make some peckin' noise.
I didn't know that you wanted to be in the credits. Again, people seem to think that I know more than I do. The fact is, I cannot read minds. I've already had a conversation with someone that I deeply care about the fact that I am not psychic. If you do not tell me what's wrong, I'm
not
sorry
just you,
to say that I'm
everyone.
pretty stupid, and sometimes I need a wee bit of help knowing.
Mate, it's not just you, it's everyone.
So, to put that in a wider perspective, you feel like everyone is able to tell what's going on inside your head. But is there not a common factor there? Because everyone is very different, and if they all are having trouble knowing this about you, maybe, I'm just suggesting, and I know you're probably going to be upset when I say this, but maybe on your end, you do need to give us more help in knowing this. Because we don't want to trap you, we don't want to remove your autonomy, and we don't want to insult you. And we know you're independent and you've got your own life. So in trying to make space for you, we're accidentally and not intentionally making you feel excluded. But we end up doing it on purpose, laddie.
Would it really be like trapping me in that much to invite me out for drinks sometime? Just anyone?
Well, yeah, we can do that. Want to go drinking? I'll go drinking with Rowan.
I think
Rowan, he's very nice.
I think this is the point that as Charlie kind of starts laughing at that, it's just like the tone that you use with that. He starts laughing with that, and like that's the point where you actually get the chance to properly see tears in his eyes. And I'm not just saying that because I'm also crying right now.
Aww.
I'm okay, I promise. I'm okay, I promise. This is all Charlie.
Yeah. Fortunately, all grandfathers are always equipped with sizable handkerchiefs. So he digs that out from his waistcoat and hands it over without looking at you. It's very anime. He sort of just passes it off to you.
No, I think he's gonna wave you off and just kind of wipe it on the sleeve of his jacket. He is grateful for it. He is grateful.
What kind of manners is that? Look at the state of your clothing. At least blow your nose on it.
Trust me, this jacket's seen worse.
I know you've got prestidigitation or whatever it's called to get rid of it, but really, that's pretty nasty. Just use the picking handkerchief, and he's going to throw it at your face.
Okay, yeah, he'll take it and wipe his eyes with that. He was not getting all snotty, it was just tears, thank you very much.
Yeah, sure.
But no,
you
that was well
deserved. You can wash it and give it back to me when you next come and visit, and we are going to go and have drinks. Who did it?
Yeah, sounds good.
Hope your constitution's up for it.
I will drink you under the table, mate.
Oh, will you know?
That is probably a bet for them to take on later.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's some wry chuckling, but he means it. There's definitely a competitive edge.
Goals,
but yes, the offer is absolutely made and sincerely made.
Yeah. God. Well, if I can't beat you anything, then I will. But look, just
well, the last time I went out drinking with Ron, I ended up basically carrying him home. So hopefully we won't get to that point.
Goals, yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, look, just I know you all want to give me freedom and everything, and I'm grateful for it, but there's a big fucking gap between giving someone freedom and just forgetting them, you know?
Yep. He gives you the nod, and he's sort of mentally making a checklist of people that he's going to relate this information to in a sensitive and tactful way as soon as possible. But yeah, he's basically leaving this conversation with you if you want to continue it or not.
Just look, I still reckon that my plan's got its merits. It's not a good plan. No, it's stupid.
Not a good plan, but it has the germ of an idea. What it needs is refining. We're going to sweatbox this. I'm sorry, my accent sometimes gets in the way of my tongue. But basically, we're going to discuss this, and we will come up with a better plan which will not put anybody at any dire risk. If it's going to take a long time, then it's going to take a long time, and it's unfortunate, but we cannot risk anything as precious as ye.
Look, this till we figure it out. Probably best for me not to be getting too friendly with other people, much as it'd be fun. Because, like, we want any sort of story in that measure, like, to have some merit, right?
We've got to be extremely careful, and it's unfortunate because we can use all the allies in the world, but he's extremely canny. We don't want to give him any gateways in, so I think this is best kept between particularly trustworthy individuals. I'm not suggesting everybody, because there are some who are too young.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's not tell the space cadets they're not.
They
good
have
with
every
secrets.
right to be angry, but I mean, they've already been too involved. I still have nightmares about the last encounter. But yeah. Larry and Tobias, I would suggest having those two in on this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, sounds
we'll
good.
workshop some more, but they're definitely in on this gag. I would say Bob is a rock of good sense and surprisingly witty. I think he would be a very good storyman.
Yeah, he makes for a great rich banker sometimes, gotta say that.
Excuse me?
Angie does
Is there
not...
something that you want to tell me?
Nah, nothing, anyway! I think
Are
that's
you
gonna be
positive about that?
It's gonna be Charlie getting up, dusting himself off. Nice talk, and he's gonna try and make a beeline for the door again.
Well, don't be a stranger. You've got my phone number.
Yeah. Do my best, Darthead. See you around.
All right. Take care, and I mean that.
And he kind of just gives you like a little salute, and yeah, he will head back down and probably just goes. He will probably not be seen around the studio for the rest, at least until like late afternoon, because I think he kind of just needs a little bit of time. But this went well.
Yeah, you don't see it because he waits till you've like closed the door and gone down the stairs, and he just lets out this huge sigh and this rather beautiful long stream of smoke that comes out, and he manages to make a perfect circle.
I think that's a good end.
I think that's a good end.
Congratulations, you'll have unlocked maybe 5% of Charlie's backstory.
Oh my gosh. Oh, poor Charlie, baby. Oh my goodness, that was exhausting. I was so scared the whole time, and I nearly fucked up. I nearly fucked up. And that was a bit. That was a bit. That was a bit. I was like, oh no. Oh shit. What did I say?
No, it's okay. You did really good. That was really good. Oh god.
Oh my god.
I need to hydrate.
Well.
I would just like everyone to know, any and all voice acting where I was sounding really choked up there was because, yes, I was legitimately crying because Charlie, why?
Kai.
I promise I'm okay.
Okay.
Again, it's... Mod, you have this exact same thing. When a character feels a lot, you feel a lot.
Oh, I do. Like, it's really emotionally draining. And sometimes it takes like a day. Like, I can zip between talking in highly emotional engineer voice and this voice, which sounds like I'm okay. But, like, the next week, I will be a mess. I will be fucking lying down, like, stereotypically dramatic with a hand to my forehead and just, like, someone pass me the grapes. I am having a meltdown. Please fan me and pass me the chocolates. Yes.
That's a peckin' mood. That was kind of like me for the several weeks after stage fright.
Oh, hi, same. And I wrote that damn thing. Oh, it was a mess. Anyway, yes, eventually things will start edging along with Jester, but I'm also apologizing because, like, I'm very tired.
You've got
so
so
I can't
much
run more
shit going
games.
on.
I do.
I will say, I specifically went, I was very much edging on, Charlie may have a couple of leads. He's not sure for certain. These all could be entirely fake, so that you have ultimate control over what actually goes on here.
Yeah, no, we can talk that over. I would quite like if Charlie did have a couple of leads or something, because, yeah, I mean, like, the Hugo's is very big, so there are, like, little raggedy tail ends of them around.
Yeah.
It's just infiltrating the inner circle is a bitch.
Oh, yeah, no, Charlie did not expect to go doing that. Anyway, that was a whole lot. God. How's everyone in the chat doing?
Seriously, that went a lot better than I was anticipating. I was like, oh god, they're gonna have a fight. Oh god, it's gonna be the worst.
I will say, coming up to this, I was fully expecting Charlie to try and provoke NG into, actual fucking combat, just for something. I'm so glad it didn't go that way, though, because that would have been bad.
Sometimes sparring to let your feelings out is a good thing. In this case, I don't think it would have been a good idea. Okay. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening. There's a lot of people in the chat. Oh my. I love you all very much. And I'm just going to shamelessly promote that the finale for Star Cause is at the end of this month. So if you want in on that, it's a fun game. People will have fun. If you need to bounce out this, it's a funny game. And thank you very, very much, Kai, for being so patient, because you have waited so long for this game.
I think the first time we attempted to schedule it was like back in January, and then I cancelled, and then you cancelled, and then we both cancelled. And
this was like the game that the world did not want to happen. And we even have to shift it from this weekend to this Monday, but we made it happen.
We did it. It's happened.
It was meant to be today for some reason. Like the winds of fate ordained it.
Yes. And things are all right. This ended in probably the best possible way it could have. So everyone can just breathe.
Good ending, guys. Yes!
One massive sigh of relief.
Good ending unlocked. Pacifist run.
The potential for the lads game is increased.
Lads. I was so hoping that was where the drinking thing was going, because I would love to see a lads game, please. We need a lads game.
But anyway, this is all discussion for another time. As you said, thank you everyone for listening. Let me end this recording.
Bye everybody. Thank you.